An unfortunate misunderstanding that should never have come to court. 62-year-old Mike McCartney was charged with sexually assaulting the 16-year-old waitress at a pub on the Wirral in September 2004. The judge said Mr McCartney left the court without a stain on his character. From Chester Crown Court, Kate Sims reports.
Nearly a year and a half after the allegation of sexual assault was first made, Mike McCartney emerged today from what he described as his living hell.
The truth will out. I'd like to personally thank my wife Ro and all my beautiful family who have stuck by me unswervingly at every stage of this nightmare which turned into a day now. I can't wait to get back to my job taking nice pickies.
The 62-year-old former member of the scaffold had been accused of groping a 16-year-old waitress at a family party at a pub in Parkgate in September 2004. She'd alleged that he'd touched her bottom as he leaned over to ask her if there was any more prawn tempura on the buffet. But today, the Recorder of Chester ordered a jury to return a not guilty verdict on the grounds that the prosecution had failed to prove the incident was of a sexual nature. Judge Elgin Edwards was damning in his condemnation of the prosecution's handling of this case. He pointed to a catalogue of delays within the Crown prosecution, which meant it only came to full trial some 17 months after the incident. The fact that it even got to court made a mockery of the legal system, he said. The whole affair had been, he concluded, an unfortunate misunderstanding from the word go. But outside court today, Mr McCartney launched a campaign to change the law to protect people in his position.
This present unfair system of guilty till proved innocent, it used to be the other way around, must be legally changed to a fair system for both parties, to ensure that other wholly innocent people are not victims of public vilification before they are totally exonerated.
And he's likely to have the support of some big names.
I spoke to Paul after the verdict. He knew it was going to be this verdict. He's very pleased. He describes it as great news to me.
In an unusual step, the prosecution was ordered to pay all the legal costs incurred here, including those of Mr McCartney. His solicitor has told us the final bill to the taxpayer is likely to be in excess of £100,000.
I didn't touch his back, honest. Honest, I didn't.
Kate Sims, North West Tonight, Chester Crown Court.
You touched me back.
McCartney's brother has collapsed. Mike McCartney had allegedly groped a teenage waitress, but the judge ruled it was an unfortunate misunderstanding that should never have come to court.
The judge also criticised the length of time the case had taken to come to court and ruled that the legal bill of £100,000 must be paid by the Crown Prosecution Service. Mike McCartney has described it as a living hell. He joins us in studio tonight and he'll be talking to us after this report from Trevor Green.
Mike McCartney arrived at court with his wife Rowena this morning to learn within less than half an hour that the case against him was to be thrown out.
Even knowing the full facts many months ago, the CPS still insisted on bringing me to court. It's sad that only now can I fully clear my good family name and remove the question mark of my personal integrity.
The case arose from an alleged assault at a pub party in September 2004. Mike McCartney was accused of putting his hand on a young waitress's bottom as he leant over a table to inquire about more food from the buffet. The girl gave evidence via a video link telling how she was shocked and upset by what had happened. But when interviewed by police several months later, Mr McCartney vehemently denied the assault, saying he found the whole idea abhorrent. He said he may have put his hand on her back in a fatherly manner as a way of saying thank you. Holding back tears, the former singer thanked all those who'd supported him.
My family, including my big brother, has been a rock of support throughout this attempt to soil our proud family name.
The recorded judge, Elgin Edwards, attacked the CPS for trying to do a deal, an apology in return for dropping the case. The lengthy delay before witnesses and Mr McCartney were formally interviewed, and the 18 months period before the case came to court. The former singer with the 60s band The Scaffold was told he left court without a stain on his character. Ordering costs against the CPS, the judge said the case made a mockery of the legal system. Trevor Green, Granada Reports, Chester Crown Court.
Well, Mike McCartney joins us now. So, Mike, what was your reaction when you heard what the judge had to say?
I can't even say it was relief. It was, you are gagged and bound for 1.5 years. You're an innocent man. You're going about your world, and suddenly you're gagged and bound. It's called sub judice. You're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to protest your innocence. The next thing, you are put to court. So the first media crucifixion takes place. Not that I blame you, it's part of your job. But an innocent man suddenly becomes public information and about a sexual assault. They're putting things called sexual assault against your name, your good family name, and that means to ordinary people in the street, sexual assault, isn't that rape, against this man that didn't do anything.
It was something that you described as a fatherly gesture, wasn't it, Mike? Do you regret that now?
I was going up to get some tempura prawns. I asked this waitress, excuse me, love, are the tempura prawns still there? And yes, they're over there, thanks, love. As a dad to his daughter, I've got 3 daughters. I was given custody by a judge, 3 daughters, and I brought them up, right? So the idea I could do anything but touch a young lady, a lady, anybody, person, other than in the back in a fatherly gesture, is to, you know, to misconstrue it as on the bottom, on the bum, was like horrendous. To hear that and be charged with that, which, you know, I wouldn't even think about, never mind do, and then live with that nightmare, which turns into a daymare for 1.5 years, hasn't been very pleasant. And so that's why now I've got to take up a cause for changing this anonymity business, where one person remains anonymous and the other doesn't. They must be both be made anonymous, and that's why I'm starting a campaign today on Granada Reports.
Because what happens to a family when it's put through something like that, Mike?
Lucy, you have no... I just hope you and your family and your viewers never have to go through what we've done through for a year and a half. It's not been very nice, Lucy. That's all I'm going to say.
What about your brother? What did he have to say?
He's the same. He's the same as me. We're family people. We're just ordinary people. You know, you've got fame with it, but you're just ordinary people, and it happens to you. You suddenly realise that you are bound and gagged and held by something called the system, right?
And as a dad.
Nothing, and as a dad, a 60-year-old man married for 23 years to a woman called Ro that's helped me through this. Without that woman, I couldn't have done this, right? And it's just criminal. So that's why I've got to change the law. That's all. I've got to change it so that the 2 people are anonymous, and so it's fair. You know, that's as long as it's fair.
Mike,
that's all.
Thank
Not
you.
that it's affected me in any way, Lucy.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
More news now.